Welcome back to Virtual Reality Game Dev Ed. Excuse me. This is the 14th tutorial video for our friend Sky on using MakeHuman in Blender. Now, real quick before I go back to object mode, we actually can't see. Excuse me, everyone. I have to take a drink real quick. You can't see the hair particles in edit mode. However, I don't want to just jump straight over into object mode real quick. I want to show off what happens when we first jump to hair. If we're in object mode already, I just hit tab on my keyboard to get back to object mode. Okay, another thing I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to change the color of these pants. That way they match the rest of my materials there. Okay. So go back to your particles. Go ahead and jump to hair. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Although it's pretty crazy, it's all over the whole body, and that's why we made that little vertex group in the scalp. So down here, in our particles, down at the bottom, there's vertex groups. On this top one, density, go ahead and start typing in your scalp, and set that there. There we go. Now we've got a crazy afro. We're going to change the length and everything. We're actually going to comb it and make it all look good. But we have to do a bunch of things first. First of all, I'm going to show everyone what happens right now if we were to go ahead and render this hair. First thing you're going to notice is that your particle hair is rendering your skin color. That's definitely not right. That's not at all what we want. So we're going to actually change the material and create a new texture for it and give ourselves some nice, fairly realistic looking hair. Okay? So, go ahead and jump back into the 3D view. First thing you want to do, while your Man 1 mesh is selected, go ahead and go to the Materials tab here. And we see MakeHuman already comes with a bunch of preset materials. It's pretty nice, pretty convenient. So we're going to go ahead and use this hair material here. We're actually going to set that to hair real quick. And we don't want to use this specifically, quite necessarily. We actually want to create our own texture for this. We don't want just this color. There's transparency in it. Okay. But the first thing we want to do is change our particle here to this material. Count which position it's in. This is 3. So go to your particle. The very first thing you want to do is change this material number to 3. Okay, now see it changed to our hair right away. Okay, now go ahead and render that. See how the basic hair material looks, made by the MakeHuman guy. To me, I think that's a little dark. It's not exactly the hair color I want, but you can see we took the skin off. Now we're getting some hair color. So we're going to create a new texture for that hair color real quick. Okay, go to your Materials tab. While hair is selected, go ahead and hit this little Materials tab, or the Texture tab, and we see a blank slate for materials here. We want to go ahead and add a new one. Very first thing we want to do here is go to Blend. Okay. Then the next thing we want to do here, under Mapping, we want to set this to strand and particle. And then coordinate, strand and particle. Projection, we want this to project in tube. Okay. And then you want to come down to the very bottom of it. First of all, we actually want this to be on quadratic, so it gives you a nice smooth flow. And then we also want to click vertical, so we have a nice little area there. Okay, now we're going to go under colors here, and we're going to ramp this color up. Okay, now you want to add I want a little bit of a detail in this color here, so we're going to add at least 3 of these. We're going to add 3 for now. Move the bottom one real close to that black line, and then move the top one fairly close to the top there. And that looks okay. And move this one kind of in the middle. Well, fairly a little closer to the bottom. There we go. That should be somewhere about right. Okay, now on this bottom one, we want to change this color. I'm going to change it to like a brown. Make it a little lighter. Okay. And then on the middle one, we want to change this to like a brown. Make it pretty light too. Alright. Now on this top one, also I'm putting brown hair on my character, so I want to make this a little bit of a brown too. But I want this one to be just a little bit darker. Okay. That looks okay. Maybe. We'll see. Go ahead and render that real quick. See how that looks. Now, we've got a color in it right now, but it's a bit too light. So I'm going to darken it up a bit. Go back into your texture mode. See if we can see this texture show up. No, it's not showing up, so go ahead and leave yourself solid. Alright. I want to take this main one here and darken this down a bit. Now go ahead and render that real quick. Keep playing with these settings. Make them how they like. Make them the hair color you want. That looks okay for me. Now, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that texture like that for now, and we're going to go ahead and start actually playing with this hair a bit and making it right. Alright, a few things we see here. If you note, well, first of all, we don't have very much hair on our head at all. And then secondly, it's going to be pretty tough to work with as long as it is, so we don't actually want it this long. And also it doesn't really thin out as much as we wanted the tips. We have a fairly thick base, and it kind of stays almost the same length to the tip. We actually want to thin that out a bit more. So, we wanted to thin out to almost nothing. So go back into your 3D view, and under particles, we're going to start changing this. We're going to get ready to create real hair. First of all, you want to go under advanced. Okay? Want to check advanced. Now for the number of emissions, actually 1,000 is fine for now. We're going to make this thicker using something called children. But you want to definitely check hair dynamics. This will give it some physics, some hair-like physics. Okay. And then go ahead and leave 5 segments. We want our length under normal here. We want to shorten this down quite a bit. Say 0.2. So it's a bit easier to work with. Okay. Now you don't want this to be random. I don't want it to be too random. I'm going to leave it. You just want jittered, not quite straight random. You want jittered. We can leave that one, that's fine. Okay. Now, to make it thick, we're going to talk about children. Now, under display, you definitely want it to display itself solidly rendered, okay? But under children here, look at that. We actually want interpolated children, okay? See how that automatically thickened up our hair crazily. That gave us a full head of hair. What children does, the best way to explain this is these are all of the particles that our particle generator here, our particle system, is actually creating. However, if we turn on children, it duplicates a lot of these particles. It actually adds fake versions of the particles, I guess you could say, almost. It allows you to create that really thick look without actually having to change your emissions too much, because the higher the number of the emissions, the harder the render is. You don't want to put on too high of a number up here, because that's really hard to render. Rather, we just add children, and then we can do all kinds of things with the children. Okay. Now, first thing we want to do is actually clump. We want to clump our children together a little bit. That'll kind of give you like a spiked look. We want to clump them just a little bit. Okay. You can change the length of our children if we'd like, but I want to go ahead and leave those normal. I'm about out of time for this video, so I'm going to come back here finishing up our particle hair, playing with the children. Okay, I will see you all soon.